So androids 16, 17 and 18 have been let loose with the intention of defeating Goku, and are currently waiting at the motorway so they could enjoy the journey with a car rather than flying. 17 assumes 16 understood the thrill of a car ride with the boys, however the android explains he never was a human male to start with as is purely mechanical, which confuses 17 because if Jiro had the resources to build an android from scratch, why would he bother making his siblings human based? Yeah, buddy, it's better if you don't find out. Anywho, his trail of thoughts interrupted by the Prince of All Saiyans noting the slight change in appearance from earlier, and 18 reveals their plan of killing Goku, to which Vegeta exclaims by the end of this that androids become spare parts. 17 warns that his Saiyan pride will be the death of him, triggering the prince who's eager to challenge them in a 1v1 or even solo squad, but 16 humbly declines, more focused on birdwatching. Instead, 18 offers to fight him, so Vegeta informs he won't hold back just because she's a woman, quickly correcting himself by stating she's nothing more than a machine. Oh lord, that stare alone was all I needed to know 18's completing his quick time events to turn deviant now. Finally, the battle begins with 18 charging in with her left, to which Vegeta guards in time along with a reaction to her right arm too. Next, the pair throw all kinds of shots at each other, so the prince succeeds with a cheeky dodge and has her arm on lockdown, tossing the android all the way into the cliff. 18 does the smart thing by evenly spreading the force of the blow across her body to minimize damage, where Vegeta makes these few seconds count by lunging in with a punch, but it looked as if he had beef with the very air we breathe. I'll give him credit though, cause he starts using his knees to force 18's guard, allowing for the patient wind up of a devious crit on the android. The pair return to the road with the prince irritated he can't tell if 18's bruised yet, so he charges up a key blast that also sets its sights on an innocent truck driver who yells at the fighters to leave the motorway. Lacking even an ounce of hesitation, Vegeta releases the energy beam which 18 leaps over with ease, but depressingly, the drivers caught in the crossfire and without a shadow of a doubt, this man was sent to the afterlife. Funny how Trunks harped on the cruelty of the androids when his own father's got the same elims as the three of them combined. Anywho, the prince remarks how he's holding back as the earth supposedly couldn't handle it, as can also be said for 18 deciding to pick up the pace now, and pick up the pace she does with this unexpected headbutt causing blood to drip from that glorious forehead of his. Vegeta then retaliates with a squeaky clean body shot which had me giving a standing ovation until I see the next panel where 18 simply smiles at the prince. Interestingly, the anime had the android lifting her enemy's head with an index finger, however in the manga, 18 wraps her arms around that Super Saiyan hair to have him performing yoga for the very first time, and follows up with a strike from the palm which has Vegeta taking up a 9 to 5 in cave diving. At last, the Z fighters are here to save the day, but Vegeta asserts they don't hold a candle to the washing machine that is 18. On the other hand, 17 doubts his sister could actually win a 1v5, happy to lend a hand, whilst Trunks pleads for his father to leave already, angry how that pride has blinded him. The android offers the chance to run away scot-free, to which Vegeta outright declines, assuming he's nearly won, and makes it crystal clear that if it came down to teaming up with the Earthlings, the Namekian or even Goku, then he'd rather die alone in the midst of battle before accepting any of their help, being one of the coolest quotes in this arc. 17 comes in with the
very impressive,
leaving Vegeta insulted that a punk like him dares to applaud the Saiyan prince, so the android cuts the waffle, declaring that if anyone tries to interfere with his sister's battle, then he'll have no choice but to step in as well. With the rules set in stone, 18 charges in, slapping Vegeta to the left, and as she attempts to continue the combo, Vegeta realigns himself to bounce off the surface, resulting in a clash of foreheads. Afterwards, the prince knocks her far out of close range prior to aiming his arm to fire another key wave at the opponent, destroying the very environment around them. Once the dust settles, 18's more upset, the beam torn her denim jacket to shreds if anything, before complimenting Vegeta's skills for an organic life form, and then questions if Goku's even stronger, to which the prince replies it may have been the case a while ago, but unlocking Super Saiyan meant he had rightfully taken the throne once more as the strongest in the universe. After that speech, she full on snaps snaps him back into reality, uttering that both pure Saiyans are nothing special, causing Vegeta's blood pressure to rise as he resumes the fight with all eyes on them. Take a look at Trunks here. He's completely fascinated his father's holding his own against the android who's meant to be stronger than the 18 in his timeline. However, all hope dissipates once Piccolo concludes that Vegeta's gonna die soon. He explains that 18 has the perk of infinite stamina, unlike the prince who's gradually declining with every move he makes, meaning this whole fight did not boil down to mere strength, but instead a battle of attrition. Along with Vegeta's blinded anger from a previous quip, his elbow strikes sluggish enough to be easily parried, which enables 18 to counter a sweep of the legs, followed by a swift blow to the jaw so he doesn't recover stamina. In one of his lowest moments, the android lands a disgusting kick to Vegeta's arm, exerting tremendous pressure, and with the limb being pushed into his body, the latter applies an opposing force onto the arm as well, squashing it, which leads to the Saiyan's limb reacting with its own forces against both his body and 18's leg. However, since the kick's too great, the reaction forces aren't enough to resist the terrible fate of Vegeta's arm breaking. No way I explained Newton's third law of motion in a Dragon Ball video. Anywho, Vegeta wails in absolute agony, prompting his son to fly to the rescue. However, this means he broke the golden rule of staying on the sidelines, which leaves the remaining Z fighters no other option but to join in too. 18 side-eyes the hybrid before blocking his slash with a lift of an arm, and we get a sneak peek from the side where the swords actually shattered post-parry. With Trunks utterly flabbergasted, 17 punishes him with a filthy blow to the back of the head, and I need to mention this, but what's with the hybrid's intimacy with the ground, whether past, present or future? The android then anticipates the interference of the other Z fighters, swatting Piccolo away and seizing Tien in a headlock, so Vegeta switches targets to 17, but his sister did not approve whatsoever, and upon noticing Trunks' presence, 18 steers the prince 180 all the way into the hybrid, allowing for father and son to finally have a bonding moment over a scrumptious meal of granite. Meanwhile, Piccolo goes to assist the one ally not on the floor, so 17 releases him from his clutches to dodge the incoming attack, and responds in kind with a diabolical punch to the gut. You've got to rank that hit as one of the best across the series, even up there with Goku's one against Frieza, solely because you can see the fist poking straight out the Namekian. Anyway, Vegeta was playing dead all along, praying he could blast the androids to smithereens, but 18 sits him back on the floor with a dent to the cheek, and no joke, she traps the prince on her foot, resembling the lazy Nagi Seishiro. I know I called him a bum a while ago, but thanks to Igaguri, I have to give him props for getting fired up to play again, especially against Blue Lock. Sorry for the mini tangent, but let's get back to the video. Yep, just to be safe, 18 really broke both of my Glorious Prince's arms, eventually reverting him to base, signifying that all the Z fighters have been defeated. 17 mentions how weird it is to see both Vegeta and Trunks' hair colour change before hopping back up to the motorway, reassuring Krillin that they're all still alive and will be perfectly fine after eating some sensu beans. As the androids nearly head off, Krillin yells to wait up, questioning what their motives truly are, so 17 explains that hunting down the Saiyan is their main priority, making a game out of it before they figure out something else to do later. Finally, when the Earthling's about to go heal everyone, 18 interrupts him with a peck on the cheek that totally doesn't lead to arguably the most wholesome relationship in Dragon Ball before flying away eager to find Goku.